Hey, this is Marty McCoy from Bobaflex, and you're watching 3dotmag. We started about 2001 in a little tiny town called Mason County, West Virginia. And it's famous now for like the Mothman prophecies and all that stuff, the bridge falling and all that shit. But it was just a tiny little town, and the people there were great, and we would practice all day and all night, and they'd never call the cops on us and support us to this day. So it was a nice little place to grow up, for sure. But we've known each other since we were kids. I played with Tommy, the drummer, since I was 11 years old, and Jared, since I knew him since I was probably 12, 13. And my brother, of course, is in the band, so I've known him since I could open my eyes. And so it's been a blast. It's getting there too. It's getting to where we're making some money and people are recognizing us, and it's like, all right.
Tell me a little bit about your family heritage. I was reading y'all are some relation to the Hatfields and McCoys.
Yeah, that's got us in a lot of interviews that we wouldn't normally have got in. The history, you know, it went on in Kentucky and West Virginia in the 1800s, and it wasn't the biggest bloody feud, but for some reason back at the time the media took off with it. I mean, it was like this romantic, crazy thing it was either over a pig or over somebody in love with somebody else, some kind of thing. And it just kind of blew up. And then in the last couple of years, Kevin Costner did a TV show for History Channel, and it's had this big resurgence, and it's helped our popularity a lot. I mean, we talk about it in every single interview. They're like, you guys still hate the Hatfields? It's like, no, we're good now. They come to gigs now and try to kill us with liquor, which we can handle. But yeah, it's a slower kind of feud these days. It's like drink each other under the table kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, tell me what goes into when you guys get together and write all the songs. You know, how does it start, and how do you get to that end point?
It's like everybody in the band writes. There's 5 writers, so it's like it's a really fast-paced kind of thing, and we all trust each other very well. Like, there's a bunch of songs on the record that, I mean, I was like, holy, you know, song's done, it's great, guys, good job. Or songs that I wrote from the ground up or stuff like that. So in the writing process, it's intense, but it's a lot of fun. But you have to be on your game, and you have to get your ideas out quick, because everybody writes real fast. And if you're not there or have your ideas, you know, pumping on the same speed that everybody else is, you kind of get left behind writing the record. So, which I like, you know what I mean? I hate sitting there like, we need 5 more songs, guys. It's like, hey, we have 30 songs. Which ones are we going to put on the album? So it's a lot of fun doing the record. Everybody gets along real well. I think we've been together like 13 years. I think we've had one drunken argument, which is kind of hard to believe, but it's true. One drunken argument, and it was, I don't even remember what it was about, but everybody gets along great, and we all trust each other, and that's a big thing. If somebody writes a song and you're not real sure about it, you're like, oh, it's your record. Do whatever you want. I'm not sure if like my brother, that song "School for Young Ladies" on the new record. I was like, this is crazy, man. And he was like so excited about it. I was like, you know what? It's wild. It's out there. Put it on the record. And it ended up being a lot of people's favorite song, and it ended up being one of my favorite songs. But when he first told me the concept, I was like, you are out of your mind, dude.
You were talking about having about 30 songs to put on an album. How do you decide which ones to do?
That's kind of hard. Like, you don't want to let any of them go. But just, you know, some of them will make the next record. Some of them will, you know, will do little special things, because now, you know, with iTunes and stuff, you kind of got to stay, like, release something every 4 to 6 months, you know. And now you got to put a record out every year, fast, and keep people's interest, because there's so many things going on the internet, and there's so many bands popping up and all that stuff. So just kind of try to pick the best ones, and we got some people outside the band that we trust a lot, and we've made a lot of good connections at radio, and you know, some really good program directors that take the time out to listen to us and listen to our songs. And we just kind of do little test groups, you know, with friends and people that we met over the years, and usually the band's usually right, you know what I mean? The band's usually, this is the song, these are the songs, and send them off to the people, and they listen, and it's always like, yeah, you guys got it down. So.
And that's how you pick the first singles that come off.
Yeah. Everyone's kind of like, that's, you know, it's that feeling you get, because when you go to radio, it's, you know, it's a swing for the fences kind of thing. And if you miss, you may never come back. You know what I mean? They may not want to hear you again, or their last single didn't do anything. It's a very, you know, you're as good as your last project kind of business. So, you know, when you're going to radio, it's like, it better be the one. So, you know, so everybody's just like, this is the one, this is the second one, this is the third one. You just kind of feel it and kind of know, and you can gauge from the reactions from the crowd, and when the album's out, how, you know, the songs like that people keep requesting and stuff, you kind of get the feel of it.
How do you decide on the set list? Which was the same way, basically, probably?
Yeah, well, it's like, we played so many shows, and now we're just into rocking. Like, let's rock. Let's not slow it down. I mean, we'll slow it down. Here one time we will slow it down, and the rest is just straight on rock out. And, what we kind of try to do is stay more toward what's on the new albums. Last album we pushed a lot of the stuff on the last record. This album we're pushing a lot of the newer stuff. But there were songs, mainly the songs you have to play are the ones that did well at radio. It's like, you gotta play, this one's gotta be in the set. Don't care if you're sick of playing it, it's gotta be in there. That kind of thing. And then just kind of try to keep a high energy to the show. Don't want to bore everybody to death and have them go to the bar halfway through your show.
Yeah, I still do what I was talking about earlier.
Turn the heat up?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't think so. I was like, man, I bet that was hard to do live.
Oh yeah, I got a good story about that though. We were in New Mexico, somewhere in New Mexico, and there's this dude like laying in his own piss in the street, just bum, clearly. And I was like, hey buddy, are you okay? And I was like giving him $1, and he like raised up and said, you're that band that plays Turn the Heat Up. And I was like, a street bum knows the song. I was like, guys, we're on to something here. This is. I was like, this is good. This song's never gonna die. I mean, this dude, like, you're that band that plays that Turn the Fucking Heat Up song. I was like, oh shit, we're in trouble.
So it's not just you and your brother that do all the writing or anything. It's everybody. It's a whole group deal.
As much as I would like to say I was the sole writer on everything, it's not like that at all. Yeah, our bass player Jared, he's got an amazing voice, great songwriter. The drummer Tommy, he's with me on everything. He writes a lot, and Sean just comes with these crazy concepts and songs out of left field. And I mean, I can't wait to hear it when one of them texts me or call me, hey, I got a new song. I'm like, let's get together and check it out. And then we picked up Dave Tipple about a year ago. He's not new now, I guess, after a year, and he's an amazing songwriter, amazing singer, amazing guitar player, and he's just added to the whole thing. And I really feel like this is the lineup that should have been around from the beginning. So it's like the band's really on fire right now, and everybody's firing on all cylinders, and just feels good. I think this is our year. I hope so.
Well, y'all do the 3-part harmonies, sometimes 4.
Now, yeah.
I mean, you don't hear bands doing that anymore these days because they can't.
I used to hear like people say, how did you, when did you come up with this? And you have all these singers and everybody switching, and where did this come from? Like the Eagles and Kiss and the band and all these great bands that I grew up on. It's like, I thought that's, when I was a kid, my dad used to have these big bluegrass sessions in the living room. And, I mean, he'd have, famous people come in, like when they were on tour, and come in and eat and play. And everybody switched instruments and everybody sang, and I just thought that's how it was supposed to be. So when we were starting the band years and years ago, it's like, if you can't sing, you can't be in the band. I'm like, well, I can shred on guitar. It's like, if you can't sing, though, you're wasting my time. So we just thought that's how it was supposed to be. And it took a while. I remember record labels and stuff saying, why do you have so many different singers? That's a terrible idea. You need to focus your sound and have one singer and sound exactly the same all the way through the record. And I was like, that's a horrible idea. And we bucked the system as hard as we could. And the best thing that ever happened to us was going independent. Like, I didn't think so when I was a kid. I was like, yes, we need a record label and everything will change. And it's like, I don't need some 60-year-old dude telling me what's cool. He don't have any idea.
Well, that was my next question. Y'all BFX Records.
Yeah.
That's you guys.
Yeah, it's us. We're really behind the band too. I don't know. We really like these guys. They got the look. They got the sound. And it's like, so I mean, we've really, once we took over our own career, it's made a huge impact on the way that things are ran and the amount of exposure that we're getting. And when it's your band and your baby, you don't let any details slide.
Doing it for yourself and not letting the big man take all.
Right, big man sometimes don't even know what your name is. You know what I mean? Did they sell 100,000 records this week? No, right, they're gone. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're a good band or not, or you had a bad week, and that kind of thing. So once we did the independent thing, things really changed almost instantly overnight. I mean, it was good to be on TBT Records and have the experience and meet a lot of these people and see a lot of the things that are going on. I mean, we got to tour with Mudvayne and Seven Dust and Skindred and 10 Years and a bunch of people that I made, friends with that I'll never, ever forget. And that was an amazing experience. And to have that kind of exposure is probably why it was easier to go independent for a band like us. But, we get to keep all the money. Nobody touches our money. And it's crazy. Part. Like, you don't realize how much money is split up when, you're on a record label and you have management and booking agents and everybody's got, it's, you know, once you get home, it's like, and we made $1,000, we only get to keep 30% of it, you know. On a gig, we've got $1,000 to play tonight, we only got, you know, come home with $300-$400. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. So we started cutting everybody out and started doing it on our own.
I read somewhere, but it may not be true, that y'all had a bad dealing with that record company or something.
They went bankrupt.
Oh, well, that always was.
Yeah, they had a great roster. I mean, they had Seven Dust, and he did the first Nine Inch Nails record, and then they jumped down into the South and started grabbing like Yin Yang Twins and Little John, and became a really big independent rap label. And when they signed us, they're like, we want to prove to the world that we can do rock again. And I was like, this is great, man. And we got a record done, and they were like really surprised with the record and thought it was great. And the day that we went to radio with our song Home, the record label went bankrupt. Wow. Yeah, it was like, oh, so close, man. This is going to be the year. And it just went away, and it was devastating for a little bit. I was talking to my brother yesterday, and he said alcohol. Somebody was asking in an interview, did you ever feel like that, you know, that it was over with? And Sean was like, no, alcohol is a wonderful thing. We were so destitute and just stayed drunk. I'm like, it's not over, man. It's going to be fine. And I think that, you know, I thank alcohol for that, because there was a couple times where I was like, oh my God, this is it. It's our dream crushed. And then we just, you know, stayed drunk, kept our heads down, worked our asses off, and somehow come up out of the other side. And a lot of it has to do with our fans. I mean, we should have been dead in the water. They kept coming to shows, kept buying T-shirts, you know, kept supporting us, and just kept us alive. And it was just one of those things like, yeah, we're going to do this. And we came out with Hell in My Heart, and it kind of really blew up for us. And I was like, yeah, it's a good idea, guys. Way to keep your head down and not give up. Because there was a couple times, I never said it out loud, but man, I felt it sometimes. Like, man, I might have to start working at Lowe's or something. Hell with this shit.
Yeah.
But it worked out, you know, worked out great. Still get to wear cowboy boots and have long hair and shit. It's a good time.
Who are some of y'all's influences musically growing up?
Gosh, everything. That's the thing. Like, if you're sitting on our bus and everybody's drunk at night, you'll hear everything from Willie Nelson to Pink to, like, everybody listens to everything. If I had to pick a band that I was going to listen to forever, it would have to be Pink Floyd, I would say. I love everything about Pink Floyd, and if I got another one, I have to put Tool in there.
Are there any of the newer bands that you kind of like?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of independent bands. There's a band called Royal Bliss. You ever heard of those guys? Mm-hmm. Oh man, we've done, gosh, probably 400 shows with those guys over the last 3-4 years. They're amazing. They're just like us, same kind of thing. Record label went away, did their own thing, been around for years. We tour with them a lot. There's a band called Waylon that I love. There's a band called Skindred. Do you ever heard of Skindred? Man, that band. I don't know why that band's not the biggest band in the world. But what's really happened is like going on tour with bands and starting to like find out, you know, this band's great, and you see the first show and you're like, oh, it's really cool and I like them, and then by the end of, you know, a 12-week run, you're like in love with every song that they have, and you know what I mean, everyone's crying, hugging, man, I miss you, kind of thing, and it's a great experience to get to be able to see all these bands and watch them play every night and watch them evolve, and just like I said, there's nothing, I'll put it in and I'll listen to it, and there's nothing that I'll say, oh, that's this genre, I hate this genre. You know, I'll listen to anything. Radio too, you know what I mean? Pop radio is pretty damn good. I like pop radio too.
Well, what keeps you going and wanting to do it all the time? I mean, what gives you the inspiration?
I would say, you know, the main thing would be I really like the guys in the band and really enjoy playing music with them, and like, you know, sometimes the last, I don't know, 10-15 shows have been sold out, and that's like a crazy feeling. Like, hey, remember when we were in this garage and the kick drum had a hole in it, and I only had 4 strings on my guitar, and we were talking about playing shows, and that's one of the things, like, I really like playing with the dudes, you know what I mean? It's like I have a great time writing songs with them. Even in sound check, I can't wait to fire up and play our songs through this huge PA system, even if there's nobody there. But the thing that really I can tell by the 4 core members in the last couple years is the attendance at the shows and the people singing the songs back. The 4 guys that have been in it since 1998 are like, just you can see it in everybody's eyes, like, all right, man, we thought we might be able to get here. Maybe we were crazy, maybe not, but it's a really good feeling. You can see it in their eyes and see it in the way they, you know, react every day, and it's just, people are happy, you know, the guys are happy, and it's something that we worked really, really hard for. I can't wait if something blows up huge. I can't wait for them to say they come out of nowhere. I'm not going to tell them any different. Like, nope, we're 23 years old and we have come out of nowhere.
Well, what advice do you have to give to the young musicians that are trying to get to where you guys are?
If you want to compete with the guys that you see on television that blow your face off, you have to play your instrument every day, and every day for 8 hours a day like a damn football team, like you're in the military. And you have to play with your band every single day. Buy a tuning pedal and rehearse your ass off. You will figure a lot of things out on your own. You have somebody step in and tell you a couple, critiques and stuff. Don't be so, don't take everybody's word for what it is, but listen. It's like, and practice. I think that's the thing. It's like there's so many bands out there now that walk up on the stage and you can tell they practice once a week, and it's like you're wasting my time and everybody else's time, and you're bitching about the music scene not being any good. This music scene sucks. It's like, I think it's your band that sucks. I mean, because a good band, how many times do you see one? They ain't falling out of the ceiling.
That's true.
So when you find a good band, it's instant respect between different bands. Like, okay, these guys have done what they're supposed to do and really cut their teeth and done what they're supposed to do, just like we did, and played for years and years and years, and that's why they're as good as they are. So that's what I would say, is just rehearse. I mean, it's the oldest cliche thing in the world: practice makes perfect, but it's true. If you're worried about what your girlfriend says, or somebody's mad at you for coming to practice all the time, this ain't for you. Go on, get a part-time job, let us rock.